Hello friends, welcome to my channel Go Digit. Today in this video, as I promised last week, we'll learn about the tenant capacity management. So those who have not watched my videos related to the admin center, so you can watch my previous videos which I made from the past 3-4 weeks, where we are learning about the functionalities available in the Dynamics 365 Business Central Admin Center. So we have already covered this environments tab, we have already covered this telemetry tab, notification recipients, environment transfer, recently deleted environment section, and other features or other pointers as well. So in today's video, we are covering this capacity option here available in the admin center. So let's click on this capacity. And when you click on this, so basically because we know that we run the business central cloud environment on the tenant level. So currently this, when you click on this capacity, it will show you the capacity of this particular tenant in which you are running your business central instance. So let's see each section one by one. So first section is saying here is that storage capacity usage. Okay, and it is showing that database is of 80 GB. However, the current use is only of 0.19, which means that still the space in the database of this tenant is available somewhere around 79.81 GB. So which means that when you buy the business central license from the Microsoft, by default you will get one production environment where you will get out of the box 80 GB. Okay, so you can maintain your data with respect to this availability of 80 GB. But yes, afterwards you have to purchase additional capacity. In case you already used or consumed the 80 GB, then you have to buy more GBs from the Microsoft. Okay, so the idea is that it is a database of this particular tenant, and 80 GB is I will tell you about more further, but let's move to the second section. So what it is telling here is storage capacity by source. So it is what it is visible here is that it is telling me organization at the tenant level is 80 GB. Now the second section is the user license. So this means that although when you buy the Business Central license from the Microsoft, basically for one production environment you will get 80 GB. But for example, if you buy the user based license like essential license or the premium license, then for per license you also get some 1 or 2 GB out of the box per user license from the Microsoft, right? So it does this that like this means that in case you are buying a 25 user license, essential user license, so you will get 2 GB per essential user license. So that means 50 GB you will found here. Right now it is 0 because, as I said last time as well, I'm running this CDX environment in which there is no need to buy the it's like a testing environment in which I don't need an essential license or the premium license. That is why it is 0. But otherwise, if you buy essential license, even if you buy one essential license, you will get 2 GB space here. So total will be 82 GB, right? So one production environment have 80 GB, and then per user license base you will get 2 GB each or 3 GB each. Then this the third section is telling here additional capacity. So as I told you that in case like the summation of this 80 plus whatever number of license you have, if it is not fulfill your requirement, then you can buy additional capacity and it will reflect here, and it is showing the total of all these three. Okay, now what I want to say here is that although, as I told you, that when you buy one production environment you will get 80 GB for one production environment. However, there is a catch here. The thing is, if you assume that one production environment will give you 80 GB, and then to get more 80 GB you can buy one more production environment, then it is not the case, right? You will get 80 GB only one time for one production environment. But let's say you want to buy one more production environment based on your requirement from for the same tenant, then you will get only 4 GB for the second production environment. So that is a catch here, that you will not get 80 GB again and again. Okay, so if you want to purchase, if you want to create one more production environment, then it is you have to be very cautious with respect to your available space you are having in your tenant. Along with that, now if you see this third section, it means that what it is showing here is that environment quota usage. Quota of environment means that I have one production environment and three sandbox I get from one production. Okay, so out of the three sandbox I have already created two sandbox environment here, and one I can still create. But this means that if you see this fourth section, my 80 GB is allocated between these three sandbox, like three environments, one production and two sandbox. So which means that this 80 GB is not only limited to production only, but whatever number of sandbox environments you create here, it will be applicable to that as well. So it is not like that if you have three sandbox environment option available, you can create all three for you in the one tenant, because if you create all three, it will take some space from the 80 GB itself, right? Then it become very tedious for you to maintain the data limits in your production environment. So that's why we have to be very cautious in creating sandbox environments as well, because it consumes the space from your 80 GB only. Okay, now because we know that 80 GB somehow maybe it will not fulfill it. It is very subjective thing, right? Depending on how big your database is or how small your database is, the number of transactions for per day basis, per month basis, how much data it takes your transactions. So it all depends on your business processes, how it is going on. So maintaining the data limits is very important. So that is why if you see this section, storage usage by environment, here it is giving you the breakup, like how much database in GB is consumed by which environment. Along with that, if you see storage per table section, so this is the place from where Business Central is giving you some options by which you can keep a tab on your data. And if you want to remove some unused data, some older data, you can always do so. Let's click on this. Okay, when you click on this, it will open the web client for you, and the page which it will be open up is called table information, right? Although you can open this table information page right from the web client itself, there is no need to click on this only. But the thing is, because I was in the admin center, so that's why I click on this, and now it opens directly the table information for me. So table information page is something which gives you the information about all your tables, because we know the data basically available in tables only, not in page, right? So it is giving you the list of all the tables of your business central, along with that the table number, along with the number of records. So for example, if you click on this, it will open the data, it will open that table page for you along with number of records it has. Okay, and it is giving you the record size as well in kbs and so on stuff. So from here you can keep a tab that like which tables are taking more space. okay, in your business central. And generally we know like the tables like integration tables, ledger entries tables are the ones which consumes lots of space, and that's why it becomes very important that we should clear those tables on regular intervals, right? So there are some options available which you can access directly from here. Okay, so if you click on this called data administration, right, I'll click on this. Although you can type in the search bar as well data administration, and it will open up the page for you, the same page. However, I just click it from the table information page only, right? When you open this, so as you can see that first notification is coming up that use the refresh section to update the data on the page. Right now, like when you open this page for the first time, it will be blank, so you have to click on refresh. And believe me guys, like because my database is very small, so it just took 1 or 2 seconds. However, depending on the size of your database, when you click on the refresh to populate the data on this page, it will take some bit of time. So it's better that you can click on this schedule background refresh, which means that it will create a job queue and schedule it for you, which will run on the regular intervals to update the data on this page, right? Now if you see here, it is showing me somewhere the similar information which we have seen in the table information page. However, uh, this page have some more action buttons available. So if you click on this action button, you will see that two sections are available for me. First option is called data cleanup, and it has certain categories like document archives. I can delete expired sales quotations. Then invoice documents section have delete blanket sales order, delete sales return order, which means that it will, if I click on this, it will open up one processing only report, and based on the filters I input here and click on OK, it will delete those uh, sales orders for me, invoiced sales order, like what it is mentioned here, that the orders which are completely invoiced, it can be it will be delete for it will delete that those records from my system, and hence I will be managed to free some free some space in my business center, right? So what as I showed you, the data cleanup section is basically helps you to delete the expired data based on invoice, based on some quotations and other levels, right? After the data cleanup, if you see the data compression is also somewhere the similar thing. However, rather than it deletes, but it compresses, like out of 1,000 it will create only two entries, for example. Like if you click on GL entries, it is also opening up again the same processing only report, and it is asking us to input some dates on which on the basis of that it searches the records in the GL entry, and then it compresses the entries, right? So for example, let's say you want to entertain all the data between the date range which you input here. And generally what the recommendation is on the Microsoft Edge is that the data should be 5 years old, okay? And the fiscal year is, the counting period is closed there, and there is no open entry available. So the two three things are there which we have to be very cautious before we go for the compression, right? So for example, today we are in 2024, and let's say some data, some older entries of year 2018 or 2019 are there in my business center ledger entries, GL entries table, and now there is no use case of it. I don't need them anymore. uh, I mean, I need them, but not in terms of like basically the all the complete data. Like let's say one GL have 1,000 entries in the year of 2018. So what I can do is that I can select that particular GL if I want to, and or I can select the particular dates, and then I can simply see this section called retain totals. So I can just check this to true, retain totals as a quantity based, right, and or as the amount base. So what it will do, it will, out of the 1,000, it will just create two entries for me and sum up the amount for me, right, so that the my total will not disturb of that particular GL. Along with that, all the 1,000 entries are now compressed into two entries, right? So this is the use case of the data compression, where you can compress the entries from GL entries, text entries, bank account ledger entries, FA ledger entries, and so on, right? Basically, again, when you compress those entries, GL entries tables or other entries table, it will again save some space for you in your business central environment. Okay, so this is the second option which you will get out of the box from the business central web client. Now let me click on this another option which you are seeing here called data administration guide. So when you click on it, it will give you the same options like one by one. For example, if I click on next, so first option, which we have not discussed yet, it is showing us that thing, like you can set up the retention policy to automatically remove the expired records. Click on the link below to view the current list of the retention policies. So there is one more process you can say which is available called retention policy. So if you click on this, you will get the list of the retention policies, although you can directly open the retention policy page from the search bar as well. But what does it mean? It means that based on, like, if you can see this list and I'll open it like change log entry. Okay, so what it means is that if I want to delete my change log entries after a standard regular period of time, I can just set up the retention policy of that table, and I just need not to worry about to manually do the data cleanup process or data compression process or run something on every month or every week. I need not to be worry. I just have to set up the retention policy. Okay, and then I define the period as well, like after 1 week, after 1 month, after 1 year, it has to run automatically in the background and delete the data for me without I have to keep a tab on certain entries. So for example, here I can define change log entry table. If you see here, table ID change log entry, and then retention period you can define. Okay, and if when you set it for enabled, right, it will create a job queue entry automatically and it will run and delete the data in the change log entry. If you see this second section called record retention policy, which means that if you want to filter certain records in the table, like you don't want to delete all the table but you want to filter certain records only, then you can add the filters also based on your particular table, right? So for example, here I can add the fields available in the table called change log entry, and then I can add them, and based on that it will add the data along with that. Okay, so you can see that retention period is added. However, like this is the one example which is inbuilt in the web client in the retention policy. But if you see this job queue log entry, okay, if you see the difference in the card in the both change log entry and job queue entry is that this record retention policy is available in my change log entry. Okay, and then I don't have to mention the retention period on the card itself, but in this filter section I can apply. But if you see this job queue log entry, you will see that there is no filtration option available, and that is why I am setting the retention period here only, that only after 1 month I don't need the entries before that 1 month, and it can delete the data for me from the job queue log entry table. Okay, if you enable this, it will apply to all the records and it will create a job queue entry and delete the data. However, if you want to run it manually, you can do so. So what I'm what we can do is that, let's say if I want to click on new and my create a retention policy for my custom table, so can I do so? Let's click on new button, and if you see here, I'm getting this option to select the table. If I click on this, now this is a something which we have to be very cautious here, that only selected tables are available, right? There is no other table, even from the base application like customer table or vendor table or GL entry table or anything like that is not available. Let's not talk about the custom table, but it is not showing even the base tables. And there is no other option. If I can type here manually, right, I'm getting an error that table 18 customer is not in the list of allowed tables. So which means that in the retention policy, uh, you only these tables are allowed in which you can set the retention policy and delete the data. However, because sometimes we want, based on our custom extensions, there are certain custom tables on which I want to set the retention policy. So how to do that? uh, let's go to the VS Code. Okay, so for example, here I have this my extension L project 7, and I have in this my own table, custom table. Okay, it's just like that. I create a sample table. Now the thing is, if I want to add this table on that retention policy page, so how to do that? Let's create a code unit. Here I'm creating an install code unit which will run when I install this extension. Okay, so what we have to do here is that there is a code unit. I'll create one variable retention cu, and there is a code unit called retention policy allowed tables, right? So if you see this and place a cursor on it, it says that this code unit is used to manage the list of allowed tables for which retention policy can be set up. Extension can only approve the tables they create. Extensions cannot approve tables from other extensions, which means that first of all, through this code unit, I can add the tables in the retention policy. And the second thing is that if I want to add some tables via some extension, so that particular extension can add only the tables which are inside that extension. It cannot add the tables of other extensions. So what it means is that if I type retention dot, and as you can see that some functions are available. Okay, let's learn only this function at the moment, add allowed table. So as the name suggests, it can add that table whichever I add in the retention policy. So how to do that? I just have to type database, and then I can type the name of my table. In our case, it is my tab. Okay, so that's it. When you just install this extension, you will see that this table will be available. But let's say I want to add one more table like customer table. Okay, so let's see if it can add so or not. Although we have read in the definition only of this code unit that any table of other extension will not be able to work if you want to use this code unit in your extension. Okay, so let's build this project, and if I, let's say, publish this, we will see whether what will be the uh, view we will get in the retention policy page. So let's wait, and then we will see. Let me close this one. Yeah, I'll close this leave page. I'll close this one as well. There is one more tip which I will give you after I'll show you the results here. Okay, so let's, yeah, extension is installed. And as I said, I can directly open the retention policy page from here. So if I just click on new, and let's see whether my table is available. So you can see here that my table is available and I can add that as well, right? And then I can set the retention period of like 1 month, 1 week, 1 year, and based on that, now you can see that it is enabled, and now I don't have to worry about the deletion of the data from this table to maintain the enough space in my business central environment, right? So this is how the retention policy really helpful to keep a tab on your data limits, right? So retention policy, data compression, data cleanup, these are the certain data administration options available in the web client only, through which you can easily maintain the capacity level in your database environments, right? So now what I want to say here is that although, because you're running the business central sky version, online cloud version, and it is so easy, especially for the cloud version, that you can easily synchronize your database, your environment with the Azure, right? And because we know that the capacity in your production environment or in your sandbox environment is limited to the 80 GB by default, and of course you have to shell out more money if you want to buy out additional capacity. Okay, so rather than you store the data of like attachments, images, PDFs in the web client only, in the tables of business central only, so it takes so much space, right? So much space in your web client, in your tables, which again takes the GB from the availability GB only, right? So rather than you add the attachments in the business central tables, the suggestion is that you can go in the Azure portal, use this storage account option, right? Here you can create a storage account, and although I'm not saying that it does not involve cost, obviously it will involve cost, but uh, it will be little bit less expensive than comparatively to if you want to store the attachments, PDFs, and all sorts of documents in your uh, web client itself. So use storage accounts, or you can use the OneDrive as well, right? OneDrive is also very nice option through which you can store your documents there, and then you can access those documents uh, through the web client only in the business central via OneDrive. Okay, so that's all which I wanted to share in this today's video, and I hope now you understand the use case of completely uh, what is the tenant capacity and how we can manage the capacity levels in the business central web client, right? That's all in the today's video. If you like it, please hit the like button and please subscribe to my channel. Thank you so much for watching this video.